You one of Tong's boys?
No. I just like hanging out in the sewers because they smell better than what I eat for breakfast. Any other stupid questions?
Not yet. But if I come up with one, I'll be sure to ask. Where's the kid?
We thought he was in the upper city, holed up nice and tight inside the bell tower compound. But as it turned out, the fox got nervous. Didn't like the look of Tong's flex stick, so they moved his son someplace safer.
What could be safer than inside bell tower headquarters?
You're about to find out, Migrant. They're holding him just around that corner in the basement of an old noodle factory. Won't be easy getting him out either, because the men guarding him aren't your typical bell tower police. These are warriors, specially trained, heavily augmented.
I have a feeling I may have met them before. If that's the case, you got an escape plan?
You are the escape plan, my friend. Didn't Tong tell you? If Bell Tower finds out anyone else is involved, things are going to get very ugly in Lower Hengsha.
So Tong's willing to risk his kid's life on one man's abilities?
Not necessarily. When you get to Tong's son, give him this. He'll know what to do with it. Now get going. Wouldn't want you to miss your next ride.
So the Tongues mission was a pre-order mission that we did. Actually, that mission was born out of another map that we cut, which was the Bell Tower HQ in Upper Angsha, and this is where you had to go to save Tracer Tongue. And since we discussed, we cut Upper Angsha, and then this Tracer Tongue thing went away, but. As we had to make this new mission. We were, wait a second, we can recycle what we cut for Bell Tower and do the Tracer Tongue.
We couldn't recycle
mission.
everything because we did want to have in Bell Tower. We wanted to have more of the evidence about the Namir and Fedorov, and we were unable to salvage that. But we did get the idea of rescuing Tracer back into this area of the game.
Yeah, but you had to rewrite quite extensively the dialogues for that you already have planned for Bell Tower, which didn't fit anymore with this new environment, which was an old factory.
Yeah, well, the big rewrite for this was actually just the Tong sending you on the mission itself.
Okay.
And we had to rewrite his dialogue and explain away. If you didn't get this mission, we had to explain why he sends you off to the port without getting something in return for it. That was kind of, for us, the big rewrite on this. But then this got to add some interesting new dialogues for Tracer and for all of that as well. So it was a fun little thing to add back.
Access granted. on, Father. How long is it going to take to break me out of here? I'm bored almost to tears.
Access granted.
You Tom's kid.
So my mother keeps telling me. But you are neither bell tower nor Chinese. Am I to assume my honored father is covering his back by sending you in to spring me instead of his harvesters?
Wise assumption. Let's get out of here.
I don't think so. Last time I checked, Bell Tower had a lot of firepower out there. You may have been able to slip past them with ease, but I'm thinking it's safer in here. No offense, American.
None taken. I wasn't crazy about the odds myself, but when I questioned it, I was told to give you this.
Well, well. Way to go, Father. This changes everything. Assuming they reassembled it correctly. You ready to go?
Tell me something first. How the hell was Bell Tower able to nab you?
Whatever do you mean?
Come on, kid. I may not be 100% up on the triads, but I'm betting your dad's not far from becoming a dragon head. I find it highly unlikely that the local authorities could just waltz in and take off with his son.
Under normal circumstances, you would be right. But in this case, I'm the one who waltzed over to them.
You volunteered to be kidnapped? Why?
Let's just say, my father and I do not share the same love of augmentations. I find them dangerous and not something our family should be putting so much trust in. But father expects me to... how do you say it? Follow in his footprints? So a change of scenery is required.
I'm not following you.
Tong Si-hung would never willingly allow his only son to leave his side. I needed a way to convince him that I had to leave Hengsha immediately.
So you orchestrated the kidnapping. You're playing with fire, kid. By pitting the triads against Bell Tower, you've put the entire population of Lower Hengsha at risk.
That may be true. But you are here to rescue me, aren't you? So my plan seems to be working this far.
Right. And sometimes the more power you think you have, the more quickly it slips from your grasp.
I will try to remember that, American. Are you ready to go now?
Yeah, but stick close. Your father and I have some unfinished business to take care of, and it all goes to shit if I don't get you back to him in one piece.
Don't worry about that. I'll make sure father sticks to his promise. Maybe even get him to throw in a little extra. But as grateful as I am for your assistance, from here on in, it's every man for himself. See you later.
Rolling.
One of the interesting things about Tracer when I was making this level was that I got a chance, to go back to Deus Ex 1 and look at some of his dialogues. And one of the things I actually requested was that one of the very famous quotes that Tracer says, I wanted Adam to say it to Tracer so that Tracer says it later on to JC,
That's so cool.
But it was kind of like this little throwback that I really wanted to do that I thought was really interesting that for sure the hardcore fans would recognize. But I believe I also remember with Mary, you were a little hesitant to write about Tracer because...
Well, yeah, Tracer is such a beloved character, but he was, beloved from 10 years ago, and people have a tendency to
Embellish,
remember
glorify.
differently than it actually exists. And I know that when because we had to write dialogues for Tracer in here, that he would be talking or even talking to add them in the dialogues. And so the writer who I assigned to this, Anakin Slade, actually, it went in and he was listening to all the dialogues and he was doing all those dialogues to try and get the tone. And I remember him coming back to me and saying, man, he's just flat as all get out and there's no personality to him. And I'm like, well, and he's like, can I give him some life or whatever because he's younger? And so it was a real delicate stepping stone that we had to walk there.
But I can't remember, did we manage to get the sentence you wanted in there?
Maybe. Go check for yourself. Go in the go in the vent above his cell and park yourself there for a while and see if Tracer says something.
Have talent, Jensen. You ever need a job, you tell me. I'll hook you up.
I take it the kid made it back in one piece?
He says I owe you a weapon. I always repay my debts. With interest.
I'll settle for you telling me what you know.
Bell Tower keeps 2 ships in port. They think nobody notices, but I keep an eye. Every couple of days, one of them loads up in the middle of the night and sails out.
Heading where?
A wise man doesn't ask. I just know the Heizen Su pulls out tonight. And where she make port, I bet you find your scientists.
That's a whole lot of maybe, Tong.
True. But maybe you lucky more times than I can count.
Bell Tower runs tight security. How do you expect me to get on their ship?
One of my boys will leave a package inside a locker for you in an equipment shed. You find it, we talk. And I tell you what to do next.
I'll be waiting with bated breath, I'm sure.
So now we're into the sewers that lead up to the seaport map. Actually, when we look at the Lower Angsha map, and the fact that the seaport, obviously, it's on the shore, on the seashore. The way of the geography, the way we build the city, and we didn't have a real credible access to the seaport, and like. The seaport technically is much more farther down the road, and we were like, okay, how do we cope for that? Like, how do we fix that? And we thought, like, you know what, Jensen just going to walk into a sewer, and then is going to get out in the seaport, and therefore, since he will have no point of reference, he will buy the fact that it's totally illogic, but he won't see it. So I think in the end it worked well.
In the end, it works.
Yeah.